Welcome back, guys. Thank you to my three subscribers, my mom, my grandma, and my aunt. I really appreciate you guys supporting me. Today, as I promised from last episode, we were gonna talk about the script and kind of all about that. So today, I actually have a special guest with me, Jonathan Salvador. So Jonathan, if you wanna introduce yourself.
No.
Just say whatever.
I am a fellow human and senior film student at Pacific Union College.
Awesome. Yeah, Jonathan and I have been here for quite a while. We did that 6 year film degree because it takes, it's the hardest major. That's what they say.
That they do say that.
Yeah. So I kind of want to talk about the project, obviously the script. So if you can just give us a little synopsis about the project, that'd be great.
So our project's called Minuteman. It's a short Cold War era spy film about like kind of a Navy underwater bomb disposal expert and a nuclear warhead he has to disarm, and just kind of the annoying bureaucratic processes he has to go through to achieve that. So I kind of like to think of it as like a Bond spy film meets like a Kafka inspired comedy, where it's not so much about like the fun action kind of elements of the spy genre, but more about the kind of mundane machinery behind all of that.
Amazing. Yeah. So it sounds like quite a lot. It takes place in the 60s, yes.
63, yeah.
Exactly.
At
63.
12:55 a.m.
What
October
month?
20.
October, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so set design, all that, it's gonna be an interesting thing.
It will.
It will be expensive.
Interesting
so,
is a euphemism for expensive.
I'll
yeah.
leave the Indiegogo. I don't even know what we're using, but I'll leave the fundraising link in the description.
Cardboard
Please
sign on Hollywood
look. This is
Boulevard.
what I think. If everyone just gave me $1, we could raise quite a bit.
We could end AIDS or do this.
Oh yeah, exactly. Which one do you want to do? Right.
Well, it's obvious.
Right. It's obvious. We'll let you guys decide what, or we'll let you guys. Okay, never mind. Words are hard, guys. Words are hard. I'm wondering if you can talk to us about your writing process for all those freshman writing students that want to be inspired.
Yeah,
And
staring at walls and banging my head against inanimate objects. Yeah, no, it's really just there's no correct process for it.
but what's your process?
Well, it's a little bit different for what I would normally do versus this, because on a normal kind of idea, I would kind of do some very basic research and gather facts and kind of find out which little kind of tidbits I would learn, and then that interested me, and then I would gravitate towards that, and then that would open up more ideas, and I would just kind of write those down and then
Right.
roughly organize those into something resembling a narrative, which is actually, it's kind of like the actual story is the very last thing in the process. But here, the story, or at least the bare bones kind of like skeleton of a script already existed. It was just more, well, it ended up changing completely, but at least at the time, I thought I had it already almost done.
Right, right. Yeah, I know we struggled quite a bit trying to turn this so-called feature-length script that you had into a short story, short script, a short film, a short whatever you call it. Yeah, what I kind of want to talk about that process and how we went about it, but I honestly don't even know how.
I don't know.
Me neither. I'll tell you when I do.
Yeah, people are like, I'm gonna subscribe to this channel because they're gonna teach us how to not suck, and here we are.
The key is not to not suck. It's to be good on top of sucking.
Right, exactly.
You just build layers on top of your lack of talent. Yeah.
So I know there was quite a few challenges that you faced while writing the script, because it's been in the works for quite some time, I will say. So kind of talk to us about some of the challenges you ran into, and also what did you do to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so a huge one, especially kind of given our circumstances, is trying to imagine a story that can take place that physically separates your actors without making it obviously a coronavirus related story. Because,
Right.
and I'm not saying it's there's no value in being topical, but I do not want to do a coronavirus story. I
What?
don't want to do a thesis about isolation or lockdown or anything like that. So,
You just roasted like every freshman and sophomore
no, if you
filmmaker
can pull that
in
off
the
and make me
US.
not hate watching it, props to you. You've
No,
done
no,
the impossible.
I get that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of it's hard to be in any kind of extraordinary circumstance and not have that affect the art you create. But at least for us, like the idea existed before the entire thing, and so we can either try and make that work in its own way,
Right.
or we can just move on to a completely new idea. And I only have two ideas,
Right.
2 or 3 ideas in life. So
So I think one of the challenges, I mean, I want to say we because we're a team, but I definitely like didn't really
We're
help
not a
with writing.
team.
I was more like
we're a
Jonathan.
time bomb.
We're a
Sorry,
time-
I just quoted the Avengers. We can cut that part out.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges we faced, and I say we because we're a team, but in reality, Jonathan did most of the writing.
Don't admit that on camera.
Like, coming into this, I was like, I don't really know how to work with, like, when you have a writing partner, I guess you could say. Because obviously you're really good at writing. I'm not very good at writing. So it was like, how do I help you, or how do we make this a joint effort? And I know I really struggled. Like, obviously I wanted to get the script done, but I also struggled with, like, man, how do I help Jonathan write or like come up with different ideas? So I know we called a few times and just like brainstormed like scenes, I think, um, about Yancey, or like the main character, like how he could start the film, how we could start the film, um, and just random ideas about like characters. Um, but I almost wish like we would have brainstormed some more. Like I think the script is fantastic how it is,
You'll see.
but I think if we had brainstormed a lot more in the beginning, like either we would have gotten it done sooner, or I don't know. Because I felt like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because there was like this rut that we got into, you know what I mean? Where it's just, we just hit a
yeah.
wall and we didn't really know how to get out of it. So,
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of situation because I've been in kind of all 3 versions of that scenario where there are teams where both people are not really writers and they're more like with a technical emphasis. So,
Right.
and then I've been on a team. I've been in groups where everybody's a writer and there's like a clash of ideas. Whereas with you and me, it's kind of like you're definitely the more like technically adept
Right.
person, and I'm more of the writer. So it's in some ways we complement each other's skills, but in other ways it's also there's almost like a pseudo language
Right.
barrier to overcome.
right. And would you say that, I guess, do you wish that I would have maybe helped more with the script itself, or like the writing, or kind of that whole process? Or do you wish that I stepped back a lot more and been like, it's all on you? Or did I do just right?
Yep, Goldilocks, perfect. No, I
won't-
think
I
that
won't
my
be
thought
hurt,
is that
so-
I don't necessarily believe that there's some, I know I'm contradicting myself from what I said before, but there's a difference between like creative people and non-creative people. Like I think everybody has some role to play in the development of a story. And I think the difference is just some people have learned how to put that into a screenwriting format. But I mean, really, it's just like, I think what's worked about our partnership so far is that the communication's been kept open, and we're discussing the important things like themes and character, and of course the practicality of being able to shoot, because having the best script in the world doesn't matter if you can't shoot any of it. So like, yeah, if both people are kind of on the same level regarding how responsible we are for the project, and how much, like, we have to do with the overall kind of creative development of it. Like, if of course we both have to be in on the idea the whole time, and there's only so much I can do that. Like, so much of what happens in the writing process happens inside the writer's head.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, it's definitely it has to be kind of everybody's story for collaboration to work.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I think there was some struggles that we have gone through, but I definitely agree that it did. I think it turned out well, or how we work, because I think we're both really open to things. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you really listen when I express, a concern about producibility or about something, but you also don't like just take it in and say like, oh, I guess that's what we're doing, right? You kind of put in your perspective as well, or your opinion on it, and I like that we dialogue about that and see like, all right, where can we compromise here, right? So we have a pool scene, and Jonathan wanted a live shark, and I was like, maybe we can't have a live
Well,
shark.
I wanted a submarine, and I was willing to compromise on the shark.
Oh, right, that's what it
Right,
was.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, and like I feel like I like we're the same. Like I feel like when you say something, I'll listen, take it in, and then I'll give my input, which I think has worked really well. Like I think with dialogue, I was kind of just like, I don't even want to touch that. Like you do that. But I think we talked about the important stuff, right? Like you were saying, like the themes, and like the overall story, I guess, and characters and stuff like that. But yeah, cool. That's how we
Yeah.
work, I
Well,
guess.
yeah, it's definitely important for both people to be open to each other's ideas, but that can also become a kind of weakness where if neither person really wants to settle on a direction, they'll both end up kind of. And it's not just you and me. That happens a
Right.
lot of partnerships.
No,
And of
yeah.
course, the opposite, it can be a problem too when both people are too like strong-willed
Right.
and butt heads over.
Right. No,
everything.
because yeah, I think that there needs to be a vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you have that, like, you have that vision. But I felt like maybe during the summer when we were talking about it, we were both kind of like, what?
Yeah,
What
well,
is
I mean,
this,
there's only so much you can care about something you don't understand,
Right,
And
right.
you're not going to understand anything in the earliest part unless you're adapting something that already exists, which I guess we did. So I
Yeah, I don't know.
just disproved my own point.
I feel like everyone's gonna watch this and be like, that's all wrong. Like, that's not how you do things.
Well, we're teaching them.
Yeah,
we have
we're
the
teaching
microphone. They can only listen. This is a
So,
one-sided conversation.
What I will say is communicate. Like, if you're partnering up, and I know that like most senior thesis students, they don't partner up with people, which is fine. But if you're working with a writer, director, or like, especially like freshman, sophomore, junior, like those years, you kind of work with everyone. It's like communicate, like you meet maybe once a week, twice a week, and just talk. Like I wish that's something we would have done a lot more, is like meet more often and just talk, even if you don't really have much to say. Like just talk and try to talk about story or characters, or just get a talk about, I don't know.
And
video
also,
games.
I think this is something you did well when, like you're like, okay, I can't write, but I need to be involved in the writing process somehow, is after every meeting, don't just walk away from it and think that you have achieved something if you
Right.
haven't, like, have goals before the next meeting. Even
Right.
if they're the smallest thing, even if it's something really stupid, like coming up with a title. Like, you and I took forever to do that, and it seems like the simplest thing, but it's really not. I almost never title anything I do, which is why I don't do anything.
Maybe we shouldn't title our Just like,
Maybe not.
No
Yeah.
Time
See,
Lord,
you already got
Time
me
Travel.
second guessing myself.
I'm just kidding. No, Minutemen. It's the best.
No, but yeah, no matter how small the goal is, you have no idea how much that little thing is gonna pay off way down
Oh,
the road.
yeah,
if
for sure.
if I have regrets, it's that we didn't do that more. So if you're any future project I'm on and anything the audience ever wants to work on, just set even
Yeah.
even the smallest goal will work as long as it's concrete, as long as you have a date on it.
Right. Something to mark off. Yeah. Like right now we were just talking about setting weekly goals. Like we had set pretty big goals, like, get shot list done or whatever. But then that just falls into like really muddy waters. Like when do you start? Like, you know what I mean? And I think just setting small goals is what Jonathan is saying, is that it really gets the ball rolling on things. And doing that with, whoever you're working with, not just like, I'm gonna do this and not tell my partner about it, like sitting down, talking about what's gonna get done this week or what's gonna get done this month, I guess, or the next 2 weeks or whatever. I think it'll really help with the whole process. Because I think that's something that we're finally realizing, right? That, oh man, we should have been doing this like forever
Yeah.
ago. So set goals.
And not just for the production phase as well,
Right,
but even the
right.
creative part, as much as that can feel like a completely subjective thing, like there actually are little tangible concrete goals you can set for yourself for writing. Like I had 3 or 4 people who had to convince me, okay, by this day on this week, you have to come up with an ending for the story. Like,
yeah.
just do that thing. that one simple, it doesn't sound even like a huge thing, or like in comparison to the number of words you write for a full complete script versus just writing 1 or 2 sentences to describe the ending. But even those 2 sentences can do a lot for like your sense of direction and your sense of what you have and haven't accomplished and what you have to do next.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. So yes, I think setting goals and just like meeting with your partner and communicating as much as possible, even if it's for like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's cliche, right? Like everyone is always like, communication is key, but like there's a reason why it's cliche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one really teaches you how to do it, and I don't know that there is a way to teach how to do
Right.
it. So
Communicate.
yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. I don't even know if like what this episode's about anymore.
It's about
Life.
love, the
Laugh.
Riviera.
Yeah. But yes, so that's our script. Those are our challenges. That's how Jonathan writes. We are needing to raise some dinero for our thesis. So if you're interested in seeing this project turn into real life, and you want to see your name on the big screen, you can donate some money, and maybe we'll add you on there, So I will put some sort of link in the description, and just check it out. $1, $5, $200,
Maybe even 10.
just like 10,000.
That joke was way better in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but we'd really appreciate it if you would donate some of your money,
Or somebody else's money.
or somebody else's.
We're
money.
not condoning burglary.
I mean, Jonathan's not
But-
condoning it.
We're not saying not to do it.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyways, this video is probably way too long now. Have a good one. Cool. I think that's it.
Cool.
I'm
Tight.
wondering.
Should I stop recording?
Yeah, you can stop recording. Did I do my intro?
Oh,